and welcome to another episode of The Influential Nonprofit. As always, I'm your host, I'm Maryanne. I'm here to give you all kinds of information on how to uplevel your influence so you can attract all that you want, all that you need to be the successful nonprofit change agent that you are. And this week, we are going to talk about releasing resistance and releasing regret so that you can open yourself up to receptivity and get more of what you want, whether that is, and this isn't any aspect of your life. Now, most people, their biggest pain point is fundraising. So I tend to focus on fundraising, but really the methodology that I teach and train people on works for anything that you want in your life, including things that work money, more board participation, more support from your team, more partners in the community, at home, at work, with friends, whatever. How we show up one place is how we show up every place. So let's work on releasing resistance and being open to all the goodness of life. Because in this time, in our world, especially if you're in the United States, things are pretty chaotic. And being able to access love and joy, I think, is more important than ever because there's more of it than we think. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about why this is an issue, all right? And what it looks like to be in resistance. And then we're going to talk about what it means to receive. We're going to have a definition of that. And then, as usual, I will give you steps to activate receptivity in your life. And I would love for you to give me some feedback and let me know what really resonated with you and what you would like to adopt, or if by adopting one of these methods or implementing these strategies, you have indeed gotten more of what you want. Maryanne at courageouscommunication.com, as always, my emails in the show notes, and feel free to connect with me at any time. Now, here we go. Why are we in resistance? What does that look like? Being in resistance could mean, number one, being overly committed to an outcome. If you are a student of mine, if you listen to my thought leadership, you will know that the key to getting something is not wanting it too much, which sounds super crazy, I know. But the more you are tied to an outcome, the more your happiness is tied to a certain thing happening, the more disappointed you will be or have the opportunity to be. Rather than looking at all of what life is bringing you, you are very tied to a specific outcome. Now, we're going to hold space for two things to be true. It's okay to be goal oriented. It's okay to focus on what you want, but that's different than being attached to the outcome. You know, because, and let me just say this, the more attached you are to the outcome, the less likely you are to get it. So even those big fundraising goals that you have, when you are super attached to that outcome, you come from resistance and desperation, right? Remember, energy precedes outcomes. Energy speaks louder than words. And if your energy is one of desperation and fear, people will pick up on that. If your energy of openness and excitement, like our goal this year is to raise $200,000 in additional revenue. And that is a goal, and you can keep your eye on that. But if you're super attached to the outcome saying, I don't know what's going to happen if we don't, or there's a doomsday effect to this, then people will pick up on that. And so the less you're committed to the outcome, the more likely you are to get what you want. Because it's this openness that attracts people, especially prospects, to you. When you can tell a prospect, hey, whatever you decide is totally okay, they go, oh, huh, let me think about that. If you're pushing and pushing because you're attached to the outcome, people will push back and they will go into resistance. So by being attached to the outcome, you're keeping everyone out of resistance. Okay, number two, fixing other people. As you know, I invite you into conversation with me. It's called an influence activator call. There is a link in the show notes if you would like to book a call with me. But I was having a call the other day, and I know that there's some executive directors. So this woman that I had the call with is not alone in feeling this way. In the chaos of like federal funding and all of this, she felt really responsible that her staff doesn't panic. And one of the things we talked about was trying to fix or help, like chronic helping and fixing. That is a sign of being in resistance because you are subverting your own needs for the needs of others, and sometimes we're fixing, if you like to help people, if you feel not, if you feel compelled to help people, there will always be people to help. If you feel compelled to fix people, there will always be people to fix. When we try to fix people, we want them to do things our way or see things our way instead of accepting people for who they are. One of the ways that you can release resistance is start loving people for who they are, not who you want them to be. That brings so much peace into your life that you don't feel like you have to fix or change everyone around you. Um, Another way this shows up is scheduling every detail of your life or being so committed to or sorry, overscheduling or overcommitting to things. Um, when we do this, sometimes we do this because we feel compelled, a compulsion to make ourselves busy because it makes us important. It makes us feel important, but it keeps us from doing the things that are really going to bring meaning to our lives. It's okay to participate, it's okay to contribute, but coming from a place of joy and excitement instead of a place of need, I have to, I need to, a place of compulsion, or almost like I can't control it, I just have to do it. Part of releasing resistance is being intentional about what you want to do and what brings you joy. Um, Another way resistance shows up is numbing with drugs, alcohol, work, and self-destructive actions. It's a sneaky way of controlling because you're trying to control your body or your mood in a certain way. And, this is there, we all do things like this, that it's just something for you to pay attention to. Could I be in resistance to certain things in my life? No, I just had a friend who decided to stop drinking because she wants to really commit to auditioning and performing. And it felt just better for her to give that up because releasing that allowed her to be more active in this other aspect of her life that she really wanted. Um, Here's a couple of other things. Denying yourself joy. Not denying yourself joy. I did have an influence activator call the other day. This was a couple months ago with this woman, and she told me um that she is a dancer and she loves to dance, but she doesn't get to dance much anymore um because there are so many responsibilities in her life. And I really encouraged her to make dancing a priority, because those things that bring you joy, they first of all, in finding your joy and experiencing just pure joy for the joy of it activates your whole body. And like something like dancing is like a full body experience, right? Like all the energy, all the chakras are activated in that. And that can really be a very powerful tool to inspire creativity, to inspire productivity. So an activity that brings you joy, doing it for the joy of it, can also have other effects that will that will bring you receptivity in other aspects of your life. A couple weeks ago, I just did a podcast on how karaoke can make you a better fundraiser, and it was really about this point, that karaoke brings me joy. And in that joy and that creative expression and that releasing of the outcome and just having fun with it, I'm actually practicing all the skills that make me a good fundraising coach, a good performance coach, and a good fundraiser to the nonprofits that I work with. So joy is activator. So feeling not worthy of joy, or there's not time for joy, that puts you in resistance. And the last thing is like the idea of chronic stress. And these are stressful times. Um, if you remember 5 years ago, those were really stressful times too. The only thing we have is is our own certainty. The only thing we can control is ourselves, is our own sovereignty. The world will always be chaos. The world will always be uncertain. We want certainty and control, and those are two things we can't have. And the more that we long for those things, the more in resistance that we are. When we can release the need for certainty and control, and just really practice on showing up in the way we want and navigating what we can, we really open up to receiving what's in our life. So now that you have an idea of what it looks like to be in resistance, and maybe there's a couple of those points that I just made, where it really jumps in for you. I love that. Grab onto those and take those on this journey with me because we're going to talk about what receptivity really looks like and how to have that in your life. Okay. Um, Hold on. I got my notes. Being in receptivity is allowing the greatness within you to emerge. It's activating that greatness within you, your most powerful, expansive self. And what I'm about to share with you is a practice. This isn't a wand, this isn't a quick fix. These are things that you can work on every day so that you can grow in your receptivity, grow in your leadership, grow in your ability to lead and motivate others because you set the emotional temperature for the relationships that you have. When you feel calm and confident and open, other people will pick up on that. If you're stressed and tight and closed, other people will pick up on that and they will do the same. When things are chaotic, it's more important than ever to really ground yourself. The goal of being in um, in receptivity is like a reed in the water. Right? I have roots in the water, but I can kind of sway and move, but I'm firmly planted. Being in resistance feels like being on the rapids where you're just being flown from one rock to another rock, right? And so what we're looking for is feeling like a reed in the water. And that is being really in receptivity and opening yourself up to love and abundance. I think sometimes it's easy to forget I do this. So if you do it, hey, join me. But it's easy to forget how loved you are. It's easy to forget what a beautiful community of support you have. So tapping into that can and doing this as a practice daily, even if it's just a few minutes a day, it can totally change your vibe and help you do whatever you want to do, whether that is raise more money, activate your boards and committees, activate community partners, um, you know, find more supporters, whatever you want to do. When you're doing it from a place of joy, inspiration, and excitement, people will want to be a part of that. And you can't fake it. Okay. This isn't just like I'm, manufacturing this. This is really true aligned energy. Okay, so let's talk about how you do that. All right, so first of all, we want to acknowledge and identify your resistance. Notice where you feel resistance, whether it's doubt, fear, or control, right? And what are you holding on to? What are you afraid of? It's important to just label that and bring that to the forefront because once we understand what we're working with, no judgment, it's just information, right? Isn't this interesting that I have a hard time making calls? I have a hard time maybe making the big ask. That's okay. Understand what the resistance is. And then ask yourself this question. What would happen? What am I afraid will happen if I let go? What am I afraid will happen if I do this? Okay, wait, one of the things I'm really focused on this year is bigger stages. My word for the year is inspiration. And I just did a podcast all about manipulation, influence, and inspiration and the difference between the three. And I am working on inspiration. And as you can see, here's evidence. Instead of doing vision boards this year, my coaching program, we did vision notebooks. And on my vision notebook, which is a hardback notebook, which um, we decorated like a vision board. My word is inspiration. Okay. So I want to be inspired. Like what and why I am in resistance. Okay. Because it's a lot of rejection. You're putting in a lot of proposal submissions. You may or may not get it. Getting up on a big stage is scary. There's a lot of things of resistance. And once I can name those things, like maybe even for me, sometimes the resistance comes from being judged how I will look in a photograph. And mostly from myself, not other people. Other people are very kind. I'm very scrutinous about how I look, especially in a photograph. So what would happen if I let go, right? And understanding that. So identify and acknowledging the resistance. And here's what I want to say about the fear and love. Everything is a balance. Our bodies, our universe, our planet, we want to be in balance. Right now we're imbalanced, and that's what's causing people to be very agitated, which I completely understand. And we're not going to eliminate fear. That's not it. Fear is a part of who we are. Fear has a helpful component, right? Fear keeps us hungry, it keeps us grounded, it keeps us questioning. If we didn't have fear, we just run ourselves off a cliff every day. So fear is helpful, but fear doesn't drive the bus, but it comes along for the ride. We can't kick it off the bus. That's just not how brains work. Our brains are hardwired for fear. They are hardwired because of, because of the fight or flight, our, our instinct brain, that fight or flight response, that it will panic when things are scary. Acknowledging fear is just saying, hey, I know my brain is working, because if you didn't have fear, your brain wouldn't be working. That would be a bigger problem. When people say, I want to stop the monkey mind, like, no, no, the monkey mind, those spinning thoughts, that means if you stop the spinning thoughts, that means your brain's not working. The key is to shift the spinning thoughts and retrain your brain. You're always going to have the thoughts, right? So you're always going to have the fear, and that's okay. But we're going to understand that it's a balance, because how can I experience joy without pain? How can I experience fear without love? How can I experience conflict without and peace? I talk a lot about conflict and peace. You know that they are a balance, and we need each other. So identifying the resistance and the fear, that doesn't mean it's going to go away. That means we're just going to learn to manage it more effectively. Because again, fear has a place, it has a role. We're not going to kick it off the bus, it just doesn't get to drive it. Okay. The second thing is reframe your mindset or shift the story. What's a better story you can tell yourself? Things never work out for me, right? Or I am open to receiving things effortlessly and easily. Clients come to me effortlessly and easily. I enroll people in my program easily. The best qualified prospects flow to me easily. Those are some of the mantras that I use. You can have the same. I had an influence activator call yesterday with a lovely woman, and she said, I'm just trying to figure out what bomb's going to go off today. And that's how she enters the office. Like, what bomb is going to go off today? And I said, the thing that I want you to work on the most is telling yourself a better story about how you have walk into each day and what that looks like. Because and about like good things will happen to me today, and right, good things are going to happen to me today. The universe has my back. Whatever it is that you need to have, because when you're worried about what bombs are going to fall, then there's going to be falling bombs. Your brain is going to automatically look for some trouble. Because if you need a bomb to go off, you will find a bomb to go off, right? If you need a person to fix, you'll find a person to fix. But if we can retrain our brain to say everything's working out exactly the way it should, um, good thing, no matter the circumstance, we find a way to make it work. Whatever that mantra is, the first thing is to reshape your mindset and start to inventory your thoughts. When I started doing more conscious leadership work about 6 years ago, I really didn't understand how dark my brain was and how many negative thoughts went through my head every day, and how that was really impacting the work that I wanted to do in the world. The goal of this is to make the unconscious conscious. When we make the unconscious conscious, the things we're not aware of, if we bring them into our awareness, we can actually work with them and change them. But if we're not aware of them, then we won't be able to bring them into our consciousness. So this is the inventory of understanding, like, what are the thoughts that really aren't serving me, and how can I shift them into thoughts that have a better purpose for me? Okay. The next thing is, and this may be, I don't know. This is number three. I want to see how you feel about this one. Practicing surrender and trust. The faith in the universe, faith and abundance, whatever your higher power is, if that's your higher self, if that's a God, whatever your higher power is, visualizing yourself floating in the river, right? Instead of getting um, stuck in that current, visualizing yourself in that water, practicing the releasing the outcome. Yes, I'd love this to happen, and I know we're okay either way. I'd love for us to purchase the new building we want so badly, and whatever's right for us will appear. I just ended a relationship with an organization I was working with, and they just wanted me to do some stuff that I don't do and I wasn't comfortable with. And I just said, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not comfortable with it. And it's hard to let go. It can be. I'm not going to say it can be hard to let go. And yet I also know that what served me and that I just need to trust that this isn't the right thing for me, but the right thing is will come for me. But if I attach myself to the wrong thing, then that's going to fill up all my energy and I won't be open to what's right for me. So the mantra is, I trust that good things are coming my way and the right thing will appear. And just practice that surrender and trust. We, I think, especially in the nonprofit world, because we feel so obligated, we feel so responsible and caring. We are good, caring people who want to put the goodness in the world, who want to put the best things in the world. And we feel so responsible. It's hard to let go. It's hard to just trust. It feels so reckless. But I have to do this. I have to get this. And I almost said, but I caught myself. And the more I can trust, right? The more that I can just let go because holding on doesn't serve you. Worry doesn't serve you. One of my resolutions for the year is to stop worrying about money and just practice surrender and trust around money because worrying doesn't really help. There's no certainty, there's no control, there's nothing you can do except manage your own sovereignty, manage who you are. Okay, the next thing is focus on gratitude and abundance. This is number 4. The more you focus on what's already good in your life, the more you attract positivity. You can keep a gratitude journal if you like, whatever helps you attach to the gratitude. You can do this in like staff meetings or board meetings or team meetings where everyone can say something that they're grateful for. Whatever it is, I'm not concerned about the how. I'm just concerned that you really step into your gratitude because I guarantee you there's feelings and there's facts, and the feelings is, oh, no one cares. Where's the money? Blah, blah, blah. The facts are people love you. They show up for you. You have supporters. You have a beautiful community. And just reminding yourself of that can go a really, really long way. I mentioned my vision journal, right? And I do a 3-2-1 journaling method. I didn't develop this. I learned this somewhere along the way, and I can't even really remember where. I was at a workshop. This was like 2018, 2019. I was at this workshop and I learned a 3-2-1 journal method and I've been using it. And it's really nice because it's very short. So I'm not a huge journaler. I'm just not going to sit and write, which is so because I love creating content. I love creating this. Um, and anyway, this is good for me. And how it works is you do 3 things that you're grateful for each day. Um, 2 things that you are in the process of becoming, but stated in I am as if you've already become them, and then 1 big win. So 3 things that you're grateful for that could be anything in your life you're grateful for. Your spouse who remembered to take out the trash, or your kid did really good in school, or you got a coworker complimented you, like whatever you're grateful for. And then the 2 things you're working on or in the process of becoming stated as I am or as if you've already done that. Like, I am a leader. I am an inspiration. I am healthy. I am active. Like, whatever you are in the process of becoming, you state 2 things as if you have them. And then the third is just 1 big win. So what is 1 big win you had today? And and it doesn't matter, big or small, whatever it felt big to you. The other day, I cleaned out a hutch in my dining room that had been getting super cluttered. And it's like clean and beautiful and brilliant. And I like walk by it and I feel so happy. And that was my big win for that day. Whatever your big win is, it takes like 3 to 5 minutes to write this out, if that. And it really does ground you in gratitude. You start your day or end your day in gratitude. Okay. Number 5, and this is my favorite, I think, is, and I mentioned this earlier, we are going to read engage in joyfulness and playfulness. When you feel stuck, when you feel down, dance, laugh, pick up a hobby. Joy puts you in a receptive state and it makes it easier to attract good things. You get to be joyful. You deserve joy. You deserve joy. Whatever still is on your to-do list, whatever happened in the office today, whatever happened at, you know, in at your home at night, you deserve joy. And a little joy every day can be very, very powerful. And whatever lifts your spirit, inventory that and make a commitment to do that. I do KPIs, key performance indicators, but I also do KFIs, key fulfillment indicators. What brings me joy? What fills my cup? And like for me, it's karaoke. For you, whatever it is for you. It could be a hobby that you have. It could be taking long walks. It could be reading a book. Like whatever brings you joy, making time for that, knowing that that opens up your channel of receptivity and opens up to all the other aspects of your life where you want to be received. Cutting off the joy really puts you in a place of boundness and stuckness. And the last thing I want to say is take inspired action. This is number 6. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It means taking action from a place of ease and inspiration rather than fear or desperation. Follow what feels exciting and aligned, not what feels forced or obligatory. And I can't stress this enough. This is my whole goal for the year. What feels exciting and aligned, not forced or obligatory. I have some speaking engagements coming up. I'm going to GiveCon in a couple weeks. My whole goal for this is to follow what feels exciting and aligned, because I know if I do that, I will be successful. And if you do that, you will be successful. It's not, I need to, I have to, I ought to. It's, I desire to, I get to, I'd love to, I can't wait to. I can't wait to call those donors. I'd love to be in that meeting. When you come from that place, you easily attract joy, receptivity, and goodness to you. When people, you are a magnet. Whatever you put out is what you get back. When you put your condition of happiness on other people, you are opening yourself up for disappointment and resentment. When I raise this money, I'll be happy. When I get this, I'll be happy. When, this somebody does this for me, then I'll be happy. No, I'm happy. And because I'm happy and because I'm abundant, because I'm receptive, because my spirit is filled with inspiration and joy, I easily attract people to me. And they easily want to participate in what I'm enrolling them in, whether that be fundraising, volunteering, engaging somehow in a community of support that we're building. So I'm just leaving that with you. I'm going to do a quick run through of our 6 so you can capture them one more time. Identify your resistance, and it's okay to have fear. Fear has a place. It's all right. We're going to reframe your mindset. What's a better story you can tell? If a negative thought comes through your head, what's a better story you can tell? This is one of the things I'm really, really good at and this is from like my PR days. And this is not about like lying to yourself. This is how can I reframe this to serve me better? One thing I didn't mention, I want to mention right now. A thought shape our words shape our reality. When I reframe my thoughts, I can reshape my language and then I can reshape my reality. They work as a pipeline. Thoughts come first. If my thoughts and my words are at odds, people will pick up on that, and that's resistance. That's just resistance right there. So reframe your mindset. Number 3, practice surrender and trust. The faith. Have faith and focus on gratitude and engage in joy. Find your joy and take inspired action. Remember, that's my word for the year. I have a little sticky that's on my computer that I read almost every day. And I want to just share this with you because I think I've read it before, but it's always good to hear. It's always good for me to read it out loud and just tap into this, take any piece of this that you want and incorporate it in your own dialogue in your own life. I am not dictated or controlled by outer circumstances that I have allowed to own me. Something being there or not does not decide my power, capability, or worth. When I show up, the universe shows up. I don't entertain anything else. I am sovereign in my field of existence. I am committed not to the outcome, but being on the throne. I lead, I decide, I create, I generate the pattern. And that's something I say almost every day to myself. And mostly I'm committed to not to the outcome, but it's being on the throne, staying sovereign, staying in command, whether the funding is there or not. I am on the throne. And that is going to help you and the people who rely on you for leadership more than you can ever imagine. All right, friends, that is it for this episode of the Influential Nonprofit. If this is speaking to you and you would like to know what it's like to work with me, if you're considering maybe joining a cohort of my Up Level Your Influence class where we go deep into this stuff, you can really embody these practices in your life, open up your receptivity, raise a lot more money, a lot more joyfully, have fun doing it, have beautiful, trusting, aligned relationships, build thriving communities of support. I am your girl. I'm here to help you. There's a link in the show notes, and I'd love to talk with you. Can't wait to meet you. See you next time.